Preliminary report: police responded to reports of shots fired around 11:35 Eastern Standard Time in Cote de Neigis neighborhood. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't speak French. So there was heavy police response. There was about 20 shots fired. They gave out orders to shelter in place. Police engaged suspect in a shootout. Suspect was later neutralized, meaning he was killed. As of the assessment right now, one Montreal police officer was killed in line of duty. One civilian was killed. At least one additional police officer was injured. The reports are varying as they're kind of, fleshing things out. It very much is in keeping with, or at least preliminary reports show that it was anti-Semitic in nature, targeting the Jewish population, including Shabbat House, Jewish schools, and it's in keeping of the broader rise of anti-Semitism in Canada. As far as the weapon that was used, and this is again very preliminary, it's very hard to see the video and all that. It looks like an SKS style semi-automatic rifle, which is a common Soviet designed rifle produced during the Soviet era of the Cold War. It's very often modified. They produced them by the gazillions. It's chambered in a 7.62 times 39 ammunition round, which is common Soviet Eastern Bloc ammunition. That's pretty much what we got as of right now.
Thank you for letting us know. Okay. Sketch, what are we do you want to move to the next
I
topic?
don't see any other twos in the chat. I would like to add to that this is because of the permissiveness and the way that Montreal and Canada handle these types of situations. They have a lot of deference to Islam. They have a lot of they will not address who are the people causing problems, like because they don't. For example, if there's a crime, they won't print the person's last name if the last name is of a certain designation, right? If it's Ahmed or Mohammed, they won't print the name. But if it's Lewis or Joe, they will print it. So there's a certain first of all, the two-tier policing is probably a problem, but I'm definitely seeing two-tier reporting, and that gives a certain permissiveness, because if you are allowing one side to call the other evil, but when the side that calls the other side evil actually does evil and you hide that, that's a problem. Like I guarantee you, if you go over all over Canadian media, which is mostly leftist media, they're gonna tell you how evil the Jewish people are, how they control everything, and it's gonna be everywhere, and there's gonna be no one policing that. Now, if you talk wrong about a certain country or a certain religion or about immigration in general, there's gonna be a problem. What does that do? That's as I may be wrong about this, but I heard that that was also a problem with the Hutus and the Tutsis, where the media was just allowed to, how I would say, dehumanize one section of the population. When these things happen, you have a person that's maybe ideological, maybe religiously inclined, but the situation around isn't helping. The news isn't helping. So I think that's also a problem to look at. And we have gained some twos on this topic. I see Noah. Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my condolences to the police officer's family and any of the other victims. I can't imagine what they're all going through. Um, and also, like, I don't know how it is in Canada, but I know in the United States, if a police officer is killed and they catch the suspect, um, they, it's usually dealt pretty harshly. Um, but Sketch is also completely right about dehumanization. That's what happened with the Jews when Hitler took power. They started dehumanizing them slowly, slowly, until a point where, you know, And I think that's what this happened in Rwanda as well. I think he's right on that too. So, but yeah, my condolences to police officers' family and all the victims.
All right. Next to respond on this topic, we have Jose.
Okay, I'm taking this directly from what I found on some French language accounts out of Montreal. Breaking news, first reports of shootings and injuries in a kosher supermarket in Montreal. The second piece, initial reports indicate several terrorists and a possible hostage situation in a kosher supermarket located in Montreal's Beth Chabad. There's really not that much other than that, other than the ex post that Grease Monkey posted to the chat earlier. But that kind of like makes me wonder if it's over or not. That's all I got to say. Just bring you up to date.
All right. That may be an early report. One thing it definitely says is where it happened, a kosher place. So it makes it far more likely that even if it's not a synagogue, that the motivation was anti-Semitism and hatred of Israel and Judaism. I would like to echo, like, name of all of us, that our condolences go out to the officer and their family and anybody hurt by this, and our blessings, or our wishings of good luck and protection go over the Jewish community over there. Make sure that you know everything goes right by them, and in this incident, that only the crazy person, the terrorist dies, and no one else. It's a great loss when the protector of a community is in the line of their duty, like they know what they signed up for. But it is a loss, always a great one, and we always commend them for the bravery. So our condolences to Canada and this person's family. Wyatt would like to comment on this. Go ahead, Wyatt.
Yeah, to add to that, in New Jersey, some guys going around throwing acid in women's face. Read the article, no mention of the guy's name, so you know what his religion was. That's just all I wanted to add.
That does go to the point that the media has a biased reporting on this, and it's very obvious. And we stand against these kinds of terrorist attacks, anti-Semitism, anti-Christian, anti-whatever. This is uncalled for and horrible. Next up, we have Samantha. Go ahead, Samantha.
Samantha?
Suspect of the Yeah, can you hear me? I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that the suspect of the acid attack, he is a minor, so I understand, like, correlation with not releasing identity in certain instances, but they wouldn't release the identity in this case because he is a minor. I think he's like a teenager who is a suspect, so they can't release identity.
That makes sense. That's a good point. All right. I think with that, I think we've closed on this topic. I don't see any other twos. The next topic I have is from Richard. I would like to check with Armin. Armin, would you like to have some words on this?
I think you guys said everything that needed to be said. Just I mean, this is why we all need to be fighting. This is this everywhere is slowly getting worse, and then just don't be observers. Everybody is, many people think that they're on the right side of this because they are observing this and they're correctly calling this wrong and bad. But you're not really on the right side of this if you're just an observer and you're not doing anything about it, right? If you're just an observer and just watching this and you're upset about the way things are going, and just coming and consuming the news and correctly identifying that this is not good, that is really not helpful. The news is just basically a way for you to You're just consuming content as a way to pass time and be entertained and be, it's just like reading a novel. Sometimes it's a comedy, sometimes it's a tragedy, but you're just passing time watching the news. That's what you're doing. So I just want to encourage people to, if they're concerned about your country, if you're a patriot and you think that your country is worth defending, then actually get active and do something about it.
To add to that, we have Jeffrey. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Yeah, just a real quick follow-up. I would contend it's also indicative of destabilization and amplification efforts by our adversaries via gray zone conflict. So hybrid warfare from Putin, unrestricted warfare from Chicoms, and or the regime remnants and their substate transnational proxies that seek to exacerbate and or amplify interpersonal kind of tension that in many ways is underwritten by socio-cultural, structural, socio-cultural, and economic issues. In other words, we have all these different things hitting each other, so everybody's in a constant state of agitation. Our adversaries look for that and then try to pour gas on whatever little fire they find to turn that into other things. So, I mean, Armin's not wrong. It's not just you can't look at these things as isolated incidents. That doesn't mean that they're like all meeting underground and like the Legion of Doom. I'm saying that's in a broader environment that is very much being actively targeted by our adversaries.
100%.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.